Hey guys, welcome to Jujubee DIY. I'm Sarah. Thanks for stopping by. Today I'm bringing you 4 farmhouse fall DIYs. So if you want to know how I made them, stay tuned. So to get started with our first DIY, we're going to take a pumpkin from the Dollar Tree, give it a coat or two of the Waverly Chalk paint in the color Plaster, and then I'm going to add a healthy thick layer of this Crackle medium from Art over the top. I had used a Crackle medium before that did not work, and I've come to the conclusion that it was just too old. So this worked great. I used an orange acrylic paint over the top, and look how beautiful that Crackle is. So we're going to set that pumpkin aside and we're going to work on our farm truck. This is from the Dollar Tree as well. And I am using this beautiful sage color from Folk Art Home Decor chalk paint. I have forgotten how much I love this color. It's kind of a green gray color. And I used it last year for a lot of my fall DIYs and I found it again. So I'm going to use that. I had painted the tires black, and then in between these little rails, I'd painted black. Now I'm just adding some Waverly Antique Wax on the rails. And this little pumpkin had a little piece that was still in there, so I just used my box knife to help pop that out. And I'm going to paint these pumpkins that same orange color. And really this orange it's called Pure Orange from Folk Art, but I added some burnt umber in it from Apple Barrel to deepen up the color. So I like this color. It's just kind of a warm orange color. And then using whatever was left on my baby wipe to kind of do the stems of the antique wax. Next, I'm going to take the Waverly chalk paint in the color Elephant, and I'm going to do the inside of the tires and then the bumper, basically, of the truck, wherever it would be kind of a chrome color. I just did in that same color. Next, we're going to take this paper pad that I got from Michael's 2021, and we're going to pick a paper out of there. I liked this plaid, so I'm going to Mod Podge that onto the fenders of the truck. And then we're going to let that dry. Once that's dry, I'm going to take a fingernail file and I'm going to go around the edges of the fender. And this just, see how it makes it white? It gives me a better idea as to where my fender is, so I can go in with my box knife and do a more fine cut. And then I'll go back in with my fingernail file and clean up any extra edges. So I just found this was the easiest and best way to do this. But you can definitely do it however you like. If you just want to press your finger around and then, or use the sandpaper to clean it all up, however you like to do that. But that's how I wanted to do it this time. So I'm going to take this. This is a Distress ink from Tim Holtz Ranger line, and it is in the walnut stain. And I'm just going to take a stiff, dry paintbrush, and I am just going to go around the edges of my fender and my truck itself, just to give it that more farmhouse look, that kind of grungy, been in the mud, kind of rusty, you know the look we're going for this kind of a project. And guys, as I'm editing this, I have noticed that I did not fill in the holes from where it was hanging before. So you might want to do that if you're going to recreate this project. Just using a white paint pen to add some highlights. It's these little details that really make a project pop. I love to do these kinds of details on a project. Now coming back to our pumpkin, we're going to add some twine to our stem. I really love twine for pumpkin stems, so that's what I'm choosing to use. But you could definitely use whatever you'd like to make this project your own. You could use burlap, you could paint it. Just if you're going to paint it, make sure you fill in that hole. Like, you know, or not, whatever you'd like to do. I don't want to tell you how to create your own projects, but if I was painting it, I would definitely fill in that hole. Although, as you can see on that truck, I didn't fill in the hole. So, you know, what am I talking about? Keep wrapping and use hot glue where you need it just to secure the twine down. Going in with this Hello Hobby Cafe Noir color, I am going to add in the little segments for our pumpkins with a dry brush. And I'm just using the natural, like the way the pumpkin is cut out. I'm just kind of using that as a guide as to where I want to put my segments. And then I'm going to go around the whole outside edge just to deepen that up and make it look more three-dimensional, really. Again, I think it's these little bits and pieces that you add to your projects that really make them pop or stand out and make them look a little more realistic, if you want to go there. Adding some tumbling tower blocks to the back of my truck. I wanted this to stand off of the pumpkin. I am going to add some hot glue to those tumbling tower blocks, and then I'm going to stand both pieces up together so that they're, you know, level on the ground. Next, I'm going to take some of these square blocks. These are from, actually, they're from Michael's, but you can get some from the Dollar Tree. You just might have to stack up a couple extras because I wanted this to be freestanding. Next, I'm going to take one of these little calendar. This is from one of the calendars. It's the back part of it, and I'm going to paste that down onto my truck. I thought that went really well with this piece. And then I'm just going to add a little of that distress ink on the outside just to grunge it up a little bit. And Oreo says hello. And here is a look at how our project turned out. I love this one. I think it is so cute. It reminds me of fall and pumpkin patches. Hey, if you liked that last DIY and want to see more, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like, share, and comment so that YouTube will notice me more. Also, if you want to follow me on social media, here's where you can do that. My friend Lisa and I have started a new Facebook group, so we'd love to see you there. So for this next DIY, we're going to take that same paper pad we've got out before, and we're going to pick out a paper that we like. I liked this pumpkin one. And then taking one of these fall signs that they came out with this year for the Dollar Tree. We're just going to trim off the edges just to clean it up a little bit. And then I'm going to cut that paper to fit the back of this sign. And I'm just going to glue that with a glue stick. And then adhering the paper to the back of the sign. That way, if I wanted to change it, I could. It's kind of a reversible sign at this point. So I'm going to take one of these pumpkin ornaments, slather on some Mod Podge, and then add a piece of that paper that we used in our last project. I really love this plaid. I think it's just really fun. So I just cut around the outside of the pumpkin, used my sanding block to clean it up, and now I'm just adding in some of those pumpkin lines using that Hello Hobby Cafe Noir color. It's just a really deep brown, so any deep brown that you have, like apple barrel burnt umber would work here, or yeah, whatever your favorite dark brown color is, or whatever color you want, really. I just like the brown. So then I'm going to add some twine, of course, to the top of my pumpkin stem, and then just using a little bit of that paint to deepen it up. And then I'm going to take one of these woodwards from the Dollar Tree this year that they came out with, and I'm going to stain it with the Waverly Antique Wax. So painting it on and then wiping it off with a baby wipe. And then we're just gonna hot glue our word to our pumpkin, and then I had put a Jenga block on the back of my pumpkin and then adhered that down. Super easy. I love how simple and cute this one is. It's perfect for any place you just need a little hello fall. Alrighty, for this DIY, we're going to take one of these mini mason jars. These were like a do-it-yourself kit that you could buy at 4th of July time. And so I picked up a couple of these little mason jars because I knew I'd want to do some projects with them throughout the year. So I painted it with the Waverly Chalk paint in the color Plaster at the bottom there. And then I'm going in with the Waverly Steel at the top for the rings. Now I'm just adding in a little bit of details around the jar and make it look kind of like a glistening jar, like make it look more like a jar, I guess. Going in with the elephant color, we're just going to add in more details, and I'm just using a detail brush for this, just kind of a thin brush. Next, I'm going to take a paint pen and I'm just going to use that to put in a little bit of highlight. And then I am going to use some of these fall rub-on transfers that I found at my Dollar Tree. Now, I don't know if everybody got them or not, but I was lucky enough to find them at my store. So I'm just going to rub those on. There were two different kinds. There was one that was more fall themed with like more fall-like colors, leaves, birds, so on. And then the other one were these more kind of orange, green, white muted pumpkins. So I am going to use both packs for this DIY. At the bottom here, I'm just adding some of these pumpkins. I'm going to layer them up. So don't be afraid of layering up your rub-on transfers. They layer wonderfully. And if you were not lucky enough to find these at your local Dollar Tree, you can always cut or, print off pictures that you like from, print it off and then Mod Podge them onto your piece. So print them, cut them, Mod Podge. So there's always hope, guys, because my Dollar Tree for the longest time carried nothing, like zero of anything. And then all of a sudden this last year, they have been carrying everything, like everything I see people hauling at their Dollar Trees. And I was always like, oh man, I wish that would come to my Dollar Tree. My Dollar Tree has been getting this year, and it's very strange, but it's awesome. So I'm really happy about that. So these are some of the leaves from the other pack that I'm just kind of adding around the top here. And also a friend of mine told me that if you order like bulk online, that you can actually return to a store what you don't want. So that's kind of an option too. So if there's something you really want, but you don't want to have like 40 or 50 of them or whatever it is that you have, like the minimum order, then you can return them to your Dollar Tree. But check on that before you actually do that. So here's a look at how this turned out. I love this. It's perfect for a little tier tray. So for our final DIY, we're going to take 3 of these pumpkins, paint them with plaster, add a little crackle medium, and then add your top color. So I went with orange, green, and blue. However, I forgot that you can't use chalk paint over the crackle medium unless it's for chalk paint. So just keep that in mind. I was okay with it. So really my orange pumpkin was the only one that crackled because that was an acrylic paint. Next, I'm going to take a piece of this wood. I will leave the dimensions in my description box. These were just scraps that I had on hand. I think that was like 9.5 and then 5.5. And I'm going to use the antique Waverly Antique Wax on it with a baby wipe just to stain those pieces. Next, I'm going to add a little twine to the top of my pumpkins, per usual. I'll do that to all 3 pumpkins. Next, I'm going to take some Scrabble letters and I'm going to do bless our home. And then I just used wood glue and hot glue to secure my longer piece to my base. And then I'm going to add hot glue to the backs of my pumpkins to add them to that longer piece, so that they're just kind of stacked on top of each other there, like you see. Next, I'm going to take some more twine and I'm going to create twine bows for each of my pumpkins there. And I'll just hot glue those to the tops, you know, like to the stems of each of the little pumpkins. So this is so cute. Really like how this one turned out. And then for the base there, I'm going to take some of this burlap and lace ribbon you can get from the Dollar Tree, and I'll just hot glue that around the base. And that's all there is to it. Super easy, super cute, and I love how this one turned out. So that's all I have for you guys today. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know which one was your favorite, and I hope you have a happy, healthy, and blessed day, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye! Farmhouse fall crafts. Do you see my sunflowers back there? They pretty? Whoa. Hopefully the audio isn't too crappy. We got corn back there too. My hair is kind of doing a weird thing. Well, whatever. Whatever. We're all good. I'm Sarah. Thanks for stopping by. I can hear the bees. Bees, please. Let me see them. Howdy ho, good neighbor. Okay. Hey, it's me again. If you want to watch some extra videos of mine, here are a couple options for you. I really do appreciate you guys so very much. I love you all, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.